Okay, I'm Avery. I'm a docent here at the CAF. Plane used during the war. It's worth 3 C-47s cargo-wise. You got both this area, then the area below is also cargo. And this seat set the navigator. The navigator back then would navigate by using a sextant, like a ship captain, through that window right there on the roof. So that gives you an idea of how they navigated. Flying the hump, it had to fly over 25,000 feet to cross the Himalayas. As a result, they carried alcohol. The alcohol was to squirt on the propellers to get ice off the props. When the ice came off the props, it would slam into the plane and make dents. You can see that outside. Also, they were landing on a field in China that was no services. And these big radial engines, when you start them, you crank them about 12 times to pump the oil from the lower pistons to the top pistons and get everything oiled properly before you hit the magneto. If you kill the battery doing that, you're stuck in that field. So they put in a generator right over here. The generator would charge the battery to allow them to start one engine. Once one is going, then getting the other one going was no problem. So let's go up in the cockpit. And I'll move the barrier out of the way so you can get into it. And by the way, this plane flies. We grounded it because the cost of insurance is too much. Yeah. And we're in the process of restoring her back to flight. So the plan is to get her back in the air.
So it's not in the flying shape. I mean, you're not flying it right now.
We start the engines. We did keep it in good condition, but we grounded it because of the cost of the insurance to keep her in the air.
That's understandable in this day and age.
You're flying a Warbird. All the Warbirds are expensive, and we felt people would rather see the fighters.
Right.
Up here in the cockpit, you've got in the middle seat, you've got the flight engineer. On the left seat, you got the pilot. Right seat, you've got the co-pilot. If you notice, it's a tail dragger, so the view out the front window isn't very good with the tail on the ground. So they would taxi by looking out the side windows or doing an S pattern down the tarmac. Once the tail lifts off, the view is pretty good. By the way, we were landing one of these things in China about every 1.3 minutes, and one of them did, in fact, shoot down a Japanese Zero.
Well, these planes did?
Yeah, of course they're unarmed, but the Zero came alongside it to see who he was going to kill before he shot the plane down. The pilot took his rifle and blam, shot the Zero pilot.
Shot them with a rifle, huh?
With a rifle.
I'll be darned. I've never heard of that one before.
No, so they, of all the planes that flew, they did get one that did get a Zero.
That's pretty good.
And they supported Chenault and the Flying Tigers.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, they kept the Chinese in the fight against Japan. Without this plane, that would not have happened.
Yeah, I remember reading about Chenault and the Flying Tigers. I was just a kid when all that was going on, but that was a big deal for me to read about them.
It was a big deal for America. They were all volunteers. They were paid for their kills. And when we joined the war, they were then transferred to the Army Air Force. They preferred being kind of pirates. They liked that better. The other thing about this airplane, if you notice it, we're comfortable in here right now, but imagine this at 20 to 25,000 feet. You see there's no insulation at all, and there's no mufflers in those big engines. So it's loud and it's cold, and you're flying for a long time. So it was pretty tough duty. Any questions?
No, I was just, you talk about that being loud. I recall my father-in-law was a ball turret gunner on B-17s in World War II. And he used to talk about how loud it was inside of a B-17.
We've got one for you. There's a bar turret in the museum. And first of all, you told me your father volunteered for that job. Everybody did that with a volunteer. Yeah. And he was rather small in size. The other thing about that job, besides being loud, imagine how cold it was in that ball turret. Yeah. And by the way, if you got to take a leak, you got a real problem because you can't get out of it.
That's right. He talks about the time one of his missions over Germany, he had his heated flying suit. The power went out in the legs in his flying suit, and it was against the regulations to leave that turret while you were in the air. But the pilot gave him permission to get out of there because otherwise his legs would have been frozen.
He lost his legs. Yeah, to get out of that plane, if the plane's hit, the other crew members have to crank the thing 90 degrees and bring it up, grab the gunner by the arms and pull him out. The question I have, if the plane's going down, are they really going to do that?
Yeah. Right.
So who knows? But,
Well,
this was an absolutely important plane for the Army Air Force and in the American effort. This is also the plane that built these two hangars. It was the first plane brought in by the CAF. We didn't have hangars. We had an office down the other end of the field, and they flew it to air show, to air show, to air show, and earned enough money to build these hangars. So without this plane, the hangars wouldn't be here.
Well, that's good. Good to know. I didn't realize that. I just figured the commander of the Air Force just came out here, and I didn't know how they got started.
This is the first plane. The second plane was the Navy S&J, number 290 out there. We've got a tremendous group of aircraft here. This is the biggest fighter wing in the CAF. We are flying about 10 aircraft, and we give rides in 2 P-51s and 2 S&Js. 51 is $855 for a ride, and the S&Js are $300. And we have them going up every week with folks wanting a ride. It's a great gift for a guy because you don't have to store it someplace. How many times you get something for Christmas and there's no place to put the darn thing? Have the experience, have it up here in your mind, and no worry about storing things.
How does somebody contact you to get a flight?
Just call the CAF and ask for a flight. They'll take a credit card number and tell them when you want to fly, what day, what hour. It's got a gun on this side. Now most trainers would not have a gun, but they wanted to do a little gun retraining as well. On the other side, you'll see a camera, so they can go back into the classroom and show the pilot where he's shooting, where he's hitting. And the cockpit in this plane is set up exactly like the fighter. So a Hellcat cockpit in this cockpit would be the same, so they feel comfortable going to the fighter. The difference is the engine. The Hellcat's got one huge engine on it. And so it's a little scary first time going up a carrier with that. But this is the aircraft that gets them ready. Another feature of it that most people probably wouldn't realize, if you look at the back of it, it's cloth. Okay.
So, if I understand correctly, this is the plane that anybody can come out here on a nice sunny Saturday and get a ride in one of these.
You bet. This is one of them. I'll show you the others.
What a tremendous gift.
If you look at the back of it closely, you're looking at cloth.
Oh yeah, fabric.
All right, fabric.
Yep.
And of course, the planes in World War I were all fabric, but there's a huge advantage to fabric, and I'll show you what it is. If you put a bullet hole in it, like right here, you just patch it. It's lightweight, easy to repair, and they get shot up. And even the fighter planes have that same feature on the moving parts, elevators and stuff. It makes them very easy to repair.
They had that on the Hellcats and the Wildcats too?
Sure. We've got one here, but again, it made it much quicker and easier to repair, which is kind of nice.
I didn't realize they had that fabric on them.
Okay, and when we take people up for a ride in it, we put our rider up in the front seat and our pilot in the back seat, so they got the best view. And of course, they got all the controls the pilot has. And it's kind of a neat. This is the cockpit of the Navy S&J. If you look at the instrumentation, it's the same instrumentation you'd find in the fighters. So the student learns how to fly seeing the same instrumentation. The instructor sits back here in the back, and he can take over if he has to, but he's going to want the student to fly up here, and this is where our guest would ride. It's a much newer airplane. By the way, this aircraft was the most powerful aircraft flown during World War II. It never got into combat. It was on aircraft carriers going to Japan, then we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, but it's considered World War II because it's on the way to the battle. It's also the first aircraft that the Navy Blue Angels flew. This is their first airplane.
Oh, the Blue Angels flew it, huh?
They sure did. Oh, okay. And again, you got to be young and agile to get into it. You can see your hand grip there, your foot grip there, so you got to be pretty agile to get up into that thing.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm a little more agile than what I am anymore.
Now, you're going to go from the trainer to this. And the scary part is you're now sitting behind a huge engine with a double bank of pistons, 18, and about 3 times the power. This one was never scrapped. We got it in pretty good shape when we got it because they were taken out of the Navy when jets came in. So this is the one airplane we got in one piece. Most of them we've had to restore.
I see pilots' names up there. One name is Gary Barber. Is that one of the fellows in our car club mentioned his name? Isn't he a local guy from like Barber Ford?
Yeah, that's Gary Barber and Steve Barber. Steve's the president of the CAF this year.
Okay.
Gary's his brother. They're both pilots. Gary's not here right now. He flew our Hellcat up to Sacramento. So Gary left yesterday about 2 o'clock. And each aircraft, by the way, has their own crew assigned to it. So we bring in another airplane, we've got to have another crew to take care of it. So every aircraft you see here has a crew that's assigned to take care of that airplane.
And that's their sole responsibility, just that particular plane.
And you see the guys with the Spitfire, they're all wearing Spitfire hats. They love their Spitfire, and they really work with it. And the entire Spitfire crew is out here today. The other aircraft that we fly and take people to rides in, this one is called Man of War over here. Here's one of our pilots. Let's get these guys.
Get an interview with them?
Let's do that right now.
Oh, yeah, it is. And that's the thing from the...
We've got a news crew here that like to know about the rides. And Ken gives one heck of a ride. And this is the aircraft Man of War, P-51. I'll turn over to you, Ken.
Yeah, we're going to give both of these. Father-son is going to go for a ride in Man of War. And we have this airplane on a ride program here at CAF SoCal. And the funds that we get from that ride program to go directly into the airplane, mainly for overhaul of the engine. So those donations help keep the airplane flying. So we're going to go out. We were just talking about that. We're briefing them for their flight. We're telling them all about the airplane and what's going to go on. And we're basically going to go up north a little bit and go for a bit of a mountain cruise, and then down the beach and see some beach scenery, and then go up and maneuver the airplane a little bit to get a feel for it. And then you'll see us come in, and that's the part where we're getting to was the low approach brake to land. So we come over the airport, and that sets us up for that military style landing. Because as I land, I can't see over the nose. So as I brake, it loads the airplane, it slows it down, and I can look at the runway and make sure it's clear. And that's then we'll land and taxi back in, and then who's going first? We figured that out.
First.
All right, Dad's going first. So then the son will go second.
Are you ready to take off now, or?
No, we're going to get all strapped in. So yeah, if you guys want to come back by here in about 10 minutes, we'll be ready to go then.
Ken, can you go out to the right and get a good shot of her going out?
Sure.
Out. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll ask for that taxi route.
Well, thank you.
Can I stand in the middle of the run? No.
Yeah, there you go. I'd actually love for you to, and then I need that video.
That's when I leave him.
Yeah. We can go up. Yeah, actually, there's a red line there. You can go right up to that red line. When we're starting the airplane, we'll push people back. And then once I taxi out, this airplane's going to go in a little bit too. But once I taxi out, you guys can sort of over there and you come up and you'll see it. And then you can go down there a little bit too. Actually, down off in front of that C-47 there. It's a good place to be.
I'll definitely get clips for you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
So we're going to give these guys the rest of the checkout.
Let you finish up.
Okay. It is a quite an
Avery and I,
experience.
now we did go and get upside down.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I had to go practice my aerobatics. He's like, I want to go. And I'm like, don't get sick.
I was
And he
walking
goes,
in
"No, I'm
the air
not
for
gonna
a
get
week.
sick."
This is an amazing airplane.
Yeah, a lot of fun. As soon as you can. Good job. Let's go ahead and...
I'll get in the front seat.
Okay, cool, because I need a nap, so I'll get in the back. Oh, look at you. You're ready to go. You gotta build up to it, and that T6 is wonderful for that process. So when I move this, I've got to do something with my feet. When I take that stick pressure.